How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the Eternal Wrestling Podcast, where wrestling is eternal. On this episode of the pod, we're going to be going over the WWE RAW from Belfast, Ireland, that aired on January 19th. At the start of the show, the ring general Gunther comes out to make his presence, and he mentions that AJ Styles made a mistake last week, and he forgot that he was in the ring with the greatest of all time. Gunther goes on to say, "My future looks very bright." And he declares himself for the Royal Rumble. But not too far after, out comes AJ Styles. And he says, "I know you want to move on, so how about we have a rematch? You and I at the Royal Rumble." Gunther says he doesn't feel like pulling double duty. And AJ says, "Well, you must be scared then, because even though you won the match, I had you tapping out like a little bitch." Gunther says that he doesn't really care to face AJ again. There's no incentive to wrestle him. And he goes to leave the ring. But then he stops himself, and he says, "Wait, there might be something, AJ." And AJ just keeps saying, "Name it, name it, name it, name it." And Gunther says, "If you want a rematch at the Royal Rumble, you have to put your career on the line. I'll give you some time to think about it, and give me an answer by the end of the night." After this, we had backstage segment with Maxine Dupree, and she's greeted by Natalya here. The two embrace and exchange kind words. Then, for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, we have Becky Lynch against Maxine Dupree. And Becky tries to undo the turnbuckle pad here in order to make a way for herself to have an easy win or cheat to win, essentially. And Maxine, she seemed to have the match won after Becky Lynch's head smashed into the exposed turnbuckle. But Natalya turned on Maxine here by putting Becky's foot on the rope during a pin attempt. And after this, Becky hits her finisher, the manhandle slam for the win, and that's all she wrote. After the match, Natalya decides that she's going to beat the piss out of Maxine, and she's screaming at Maxine, "When are you ever going to learn? You're never going to learn." Natalya then puts Maxine to a sharpshooter, has her tapping out, and this heel turn from Natalya seems a little bit out of nowhere because she was just helping Maxine train to beat Becky. So I don't really understand her motivation. Why put all this time and effort into helping someone out to just turn on them? It would have been different if Maxine won the championship and then Natalya wanted a title shot and Maxine didn't give it to her right away. Nevertheless, what I see happening here is, of course, Maxine is going to enter a program with Natalya. They're going to feud for a bit, probably until like maybe Elimination Chamber or Mania. And Natalya is going to take that L at the end of the rivalry. She may not lose right away, but she's definitely going to take the L here, only to help boost up Maxine for maybe regaining the Intercontinental Championship or just pushing her into like a main event picture. Hard to say, but that's where I really see this going. Then we have a backstage segment with Adam Pearce, and he tells Paul Heyman that he's going to be ringside tonight during the Vision's 6-man tag team match. And he essentially says that he's tired of the Vision's antics with their cheating, their underhanded tactics. And AJ says that he spoke to his wife, and his wife said to kick Gunther's ass, and he's willing to put his career on the line. We then have another backstage segment with the Judgment Day in their like clubhouse area, where Raquel says that she's going to be Stephanie Vakir's worst nightmare when she returns. And Liv Morgan, she's hyping up Raquel, Roxanne, and Finn, and she says that initially she thought Roxanne was pretty much a two-faced snake, but that she's really grown on her and that she will be Liv Morgan's prodigy. Then we have main event Jey Uso coming up to the crowd. Everybody's yeeting. They're all happy as can be, and he declares himself for the Royal Rumble. And he tells everybody, this is the warning shot here. Get prepared. We're straight back to the backstage for another segment. The New Day flag down Adam Pearce, saying that they're upset that they don't get a tag team title match. And Adam Pearce says that they're going to be put into a fatal 4-way to declare the number one contenders for the tag titles against the Usos. We then move on to our 6-man tag team match, where we have the Luchadors, Penta, Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee going up against the Vision's Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, and Austin Theory. Tons of acrobatics from the Luchadors, which is to be expected and always a welcome sight. I can never not praise any of the 3 men enough. And for Rey Mysterio at his age to still be competing at this level when so many other people have retired, either the man's running on fumes or he's got a great recovery plan. It's really impressive. And I think he's been wrestling since a very, very young age. in Mexico. So during the match, after Penta hits a Mexican Destroyer on Theory, Adam Pearce sees that brass knuckles are being sheared by the Vision from Logan Paul. And Pierce flags down the ref and he's like, hey, keep an eye on them. And he's arguing with Paul Heyman because he gets the brass knuckles and he says, this isn't going to happen. I'm tired of this crap. And he forgets that he sends them down on the ringing apron, which allows Rey Mysterio to grab the knuckles. And he hits Austin Theory to set up the finish of the match, where Penta hits the Mexican Destroyer. 1, 2, 3. The team of the Luchadors get this one here. Oh, that is not their official name, but it's awesome to see them get the W here. It's also really interesting that the Vision didn't win, because the Vision is kind of like the main faction on Raw right now. Just kind of interesting that without Braun Breaker with them, they're losing a little momentum maybe, but it is just one loss, so can't really read into it too much. We then have a little backstage interview, and we see Punk. He says that he's the best in the world, not only in the US, but he's come to Ireland tonight to prove that he is indeed the best in the world. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out, and they're cutting a promo, and Rhea says that Liv and Roxanne, when are you guys going to learn that when it comes to us and the Judgment Day, we are always on top? And Rhea says that after they retain their title at Saturday night's main event, that her and Io will be participating in the Royal Rumble match. So out comes Liv and Roxanne, and Liv says that at the end of the day, Rhea will always turn her back on her tag team partner, and that Rhea's selfishness will leave her with nothing. And Rhea and Io are blindsided by Raquel Rodriguez, who ambushes them, and Rhea and Io are beat down by all three members of the Judgment Day here. We then have a singles match where El Grande Americano is facing Javon Evans. The match did have to stop, though, and it had to be stopped during commercial break, where Javon Evans did appear to be injured, unfortunately. I think he's incredibly athletic and entertaining, so hopefully this isn't too bad of an injury and maybe just more of a precaution, but we'll find out in the coming weeks and if he is in the Royal Rumble or not. And now it's main event time, where the World Heavyweight Championship is on the line as CM Punk versus Finn Balor. Ireland's own Finn Balor here. Finn, he comes out to his original music, and he even kind of misses a step where, like, the whoa part of his song where he throws his arms up and he tells the cameraman that the crowd is so loud he didn't even hear his music. A really great showing here from Finn Balor. He was able to kick out of the GTS from Punk, and over the course of the match did fight fair, and he didn't have any help from his Judgment Day faction members. He just kept the match one-on-one, kept it clean, and really took it to Punk here to show Punk he's not messing around and that he can get the job done on his own. So Balor was able to hit his finishing move, the coup de grace, off the top turnbuckle onto Punk, but that still was not enough to keep CM Punk down. Unfortunately, after this, Punk was able to hit his finishing move, to go to sleep one more time, and 1-2, CM Punk retains the World Heavyweight Championship over Finn Balor. After the match, CM Punk shook Finn's hand and raised his arm as a great sign of respect. And I knew this was going to happen. I was really rooting for Finn here. Him being world champion again is long overdue, and it would just help elevate him once more to the heights that he should be, since he was only able to hold that Universal World title for less than a day due to that shoulder injury. And he always seems to put on great matches, and it's like he can easily make not only himself, but his opponents look really good. And a couple years back when I went to Monday Night Raw in Indianapolis, he was facing Kevin Owens, and they just had a barn burner. It was such a good match. It was hard to tell who was going to win. Kevin Owens did end up winning the match, though, which I really hope he gets the surgery he needs, Kevin Owens, and he's able to return back to the ring. I know he has some neck issues, I believe. So there were some pretty good matches during this episode of Raw within their 2.5 hour time frame, but my biggest gripe with WWE is there's just a lot of talking, and these backstage segments are becoming more and more frequent, when I feel like if we cut them down, maybe we could have a couple more matches. I understand that the power of the promo can be just as impactful as a match, but we're supposed to be building towards Saturday night's main event, and there's probably only going to be like 5, maybe 6 matches on Saturday. I don't foresee them doing more, just because that's the way WWE is. They only load up their 2-night premium live events. They don't call them pay-per-views anymore, with a lot of matches. So not a ton of story beats here. Some paint by number segments when it comes to Rhea and Io getting ambushed and attacked and beat down. And hopefully we get a challenger for Punk for his world title soon. Or maybe the winner of the Royal Rumble is going to challenge Punk. It's hard to say. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of the podcast. And don't forget to like, comment, follow, subscribe. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And thank you for your time. As always, I hope you guys have a great morning or night whenever you watch this. And I will catch you guys in the next one for an AEW Dynamite review.